What's up, guys? Welcome into Good Morning Lambeau. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. You can find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. I'm joined alongside Tim live in Green Bay. Hope you guys are having an awesome Wednesday morning here as you're getting the day going. This is hump day, Tim. This is hump day. Getting ready to come right down the other side of the week, and we've got football coming up on Saturday, meaningful football for the Packers as we got two division rivals that are going to be playing. And then, of course, we've got the Packers kicking off Sunday against Tampa, who Tampa's one of those teams, Tim. You look 1 second and you go, man, they're putting up, a lot of points. And then the next second it's like, all right, they're dookie. You don't really know what you're going to get, much like the Giants game. It's just one of those games you could go in not knowing what to expect, the volatility, I guess you could say, with some of these teams who have quarterbacks who are unproven, but at the same time, there's not a whole lot of tape on them. I think you've seen that with who I'm going to continue to refer to as Danny DeVito, because I cannot remember Tommy DeVito. So I know Tommy Cutlets is the other one. But anyway, how's your morning going, pal?
Going well. Got the diesel going, man. I'm on, got one cup down already. I'm waiting for cup 2.
It's same, man. Same. I just finished cup 1 of that. Get it in you first thing in the morning, man, especially when you're out there farming like A.J. Dillon. I'm not going to hit it that early, though. Okay, I'm not going to hit that early. All right, yeah, we got everybody in the chat. Mark in here, Carly Ray, Zane, Derek K, Sam up in the house, Nick McSwain, Omer, of course. Got the whole crew in here. Appreciate y'all swinging through. Let's do this. Let's hit on a couple of the comments here. First of all, Omer in the chat says Dontavian Wicks is likely out 2 to 3 weeks with a high ankle sprain. Jaden Reed is in concussion protocol. We'll see what other news we get today. Matt not having anything to say yesterday. Holding out a little bit of hope for Jaden Reed. We'll see, right? It's just one of those things, too, that was a lick. Tim, did you get to go back and watch him take that hit on that 2-point conversion, man? Have you seen it again or no?
Yeah.
Bro, it was like he cut the corner and seen everything break down and was just like, here we go. Let's try. Bang. I'm telling you, man, he came out the other side. I thought he was in the pile. And then as the play ended, it's like he disappeared into the pile. And then as everybody got up, he was on the ground a couple yards back, and he was just laying there motionless. Like, man, you talking about a kid willing to sacrifice his body. I can't talk about it enough. That stuff, that means a lot to me as a fan when you see someone willing to sacrifice their body like that. Jaden Reed's going to be a good one. But I say all that because we pointed to earlier in the year, Quay Walker got a concussion. And obviously, he ended up playing that very next week, right? He cleared concussion protocol pretty quickly. So hopefully, we'll get some good news from Jaden. If he's out today, what we're looking for is a limited participation. Once he goes limited, that means he's moved to the next step of concussion protocol, and you're on track. It's very rare someone gets to that point where they're limited because they're so cautious about it, and then they don't play the very next game. So if he's not limited by practice on Friday, Tim, I feel comfortable saying, okay, he's out,
Yeah, I agree. And, the only thing that is, gives you a little concern with this is we are on a short week. So turnaround time might be that much more difficult because these are, concussion is one of those things that it's like time, you can't really fight time. Time is what they're looking at and your progression as you go through the protocol. So, yeah, we'll keep an eye on the injury report. Clearly, we need him. we need Mr. Reed out there. Next man up mentality, of course, but you want Jaden Reed out there, especially with Scoot kind of being the question mark here with his injuries as well. So and then Tay Wicks with the high ankle sprain, that's going to be a handful of games there without him. So yeah, hopefully Jaden Reed is good to go. But also, if he's not, guys. That there's a reason we have these protocols. So hopefully he's okay and gets through this for sure.
Definitely. Laurencio Delgado, one of the coolest names in the chat, says good morning. Hey, appreciate you swinging through, hanging out with us here on this beautiful Wednesday morning. I'm kind of keeping my eye. I don't mean to be rude, Tim, when you're talking. I'm trying to keep my eye on NFL Network over. There's owners meetings today, and they're talking about health and safety stuff, obviously, as they always are. Here we are talking about a concussion for the Packers. They're talking about those injuries and monitoring them all through the season. One of the other talking points, too, I haven't heard any definitive answer yet, but there was some stuff that came out on the new salary cap we'll hit on real briefly here. Let's see if I can find the screen grab. Ian tweeted this out the other day. Ian Rappaport, of course, at Rap Sheet on Twitter, said the NFL Management Council informed clubs that it won't provide a salary cap projection this week, but business is booming and the cap could exceed $240 million when set. So sounds like the cap, reading into that a little bit, the cap's going to be even higher than they expected. And I'm thinking that at these owner meetings, we should know something here within the next day or two, if it hasn't already been reported. So if you guys have heard that, post it in the chat there, and we'll get the information to everyone who's listening on the pod as well. But just kind of keeping an eye on that. You guys know where I stand on the salary cap. I'm not one of these people that says the salary cap is fake. I'm also not one that tries to pretend like you've got to balance the books and stay. There's so many loopholes. The salary cap is very real, in my opinion, from a deadline standpoint, from a date standpoint. It's very date sensitive, if you will. That's why you find yourself having to get rid of a Zadarius Smith, because you couldn't get the cap number worked out before you hit the deadline. Therefore, okay, we got to move on. We got to cut you. But from that perspective, I'm not saying you can go out and just spend an infinity amount of money. I mean, look at the Saints. Everyone immediately, when I bring up the Saints, they go, but yeah, look how bad they are. That's not the point. They've made bad decisions on their personnel. They went out and got the quarterback they wanted to get. That's the point. They made the bad decision on the quarterback. There's no two ways about it. Still a lot of good players on that team. Obviously, they went down to the wire with the Packers there earlier in the year. But I remember when we played them too, Tim, everybody's talking about how good that defense is. The point is, next year, they're like $80 million over the cap. And they go, oh, it caught up with them. No, it's been like that the last 3 years, and they always get under the cap. So you can stretch a window out for an extended period of time. Now, I am one. People hear that, and they might get deterred and go, I don't like that. I agree. I wish that wasn't the case. I wish you couldn't push cap out like that. I wish it was just very cut and dry. I was telling Tim, I talk about all the time, my personality type's Elijah Stitch, and I want the books balanced yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of stuff, it really it irks me. But when that's the game you're playing, cash over cap, if you don't play the game, you're going to fall behind. There's no two ways about it. You got anything to say on the salary cap, Tim, or anything looking forward, or maybe how the Packers have handled the salary cap in the past?
The more I learn about it, the less I understand. So no,
I think that's all of us.
Not a lot of input on the cap, other than it'd be real interesting to see what happens with Bakhtiari. That's about it. That's my thoughts on it. Keep David Bakhtiari watch. But no, and it doesn't surprise me that there's no cap update. I mean, seems like business as usual. They're literally kicking the can down the road with kicking the can down the road. So
it's almost like they're following our government's lead. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Well, that's a future problem. We'll figure that out later.
Yeah. We'll let our grandchildren handle that.
That's right.
Anyway, here we are already talking about how messed up our two-party system is. Nick McSwain in the chat says, hey, Clayton, question. Seemed like edge rushers were getting pressure, but DeVito had a huge lane to escape through. Just curious how exactly that happened. I think the answer to that question, Nick, is in another question. When has anyone else done that this year? Can't think of one time other than, like we mentioned, Justin Fields, which he'll tuck, even when there isn't a running lane, he'll tuck that thing and run. Like he's got the athleticism to be the fastest player on the field at any time, much like Mike Vick back in the day. And he's kind of on pace to be a better rushing quarterback than Mike Vick. Thank God he can't throw the ball. But as a Packer fan, of course, some Bears fans that listen to this go, what do you mean, thank God? What are you trying to say? You know exactly what I'm trying to say. And it looked like they're coming around too, judging by Twitter, but that's a story for a different day. So to answer your question, on tape, as they go into that game, you could tell Brian Daboll there was emphasis on, look, they've got a great pass rush. And all week long, everyone talked about how we're going to get 5 sacks. We're going to get 7 sacks. We might sack them 20 times. They're the most, they give up the most sacks in the league. I guarantee you what Daboll went in with that game plan was, listen, Tommy Cutlets, listen to me, Danny. They're going to rush upfield. Their tackles, I feel like they played it like we're going to give you the outside. And all day long, the game plan is going to be for DeVito to step up in the pocket, right? So now people go, well, that's Joe Barry's fault. I disagree. As an edge rusher, especially your most veteran, if you were to look at every position on this team and say, who's got the most experience, I guarantee you would say the edge room's got to be the most experienced aspect of this team. They've got to be willing to adjust. They got to be willing to adapt to that. So I've actually got a quick video on a Tommy DeVito pass here. I wasn't going to hit it right off the bat, but I'll post it here, or we'll show it. This is actually Brian Baldinger breaking down that touchdown pass he made. The thing I keyed in on, as soon as the guy caught the touchdown in the corner of the end zone, Tim, I immediately thought, absolutely perfect throw from DeVito, but also I wanted to get mad. Like, why are you giving him the corner like that? And I go, it's a 7th round rookie, man. I don't know. I know Rasul doesn't play on the right, but I'm just saying, like, we didn't put an emphasis on this, and you're going to see it. It's going to rear its ugly head throughout the season. There's no two ways about it. This is one of those situations. But let's watch this play real quick and hear Brian Baldinger, 11-year vet in the NFL, one of the best at breaking down the tape. You guys should follow him on Twitter. You can get this video for free on Twitter. He shared it. I think it was yesterday, but here we go.
If you're building a resume reel for Tommy DeVito, this play has to be on it. Giants motion from a 3-by-1 to a.
I didn't focus on this, guys, but let's focus on the edge defender on the right side here, okay? That would be Rashawn Gary down at the bottom, okay? Let's see what he does here to kind of answer whoever it was a question there in the chat.
2-by-2, that's Isaiah Hodgins. And right here, 3rd and 7, 14-13 game play action. DeVito's first look is up at the top to the two-man side.
I'm going to stop for a second. Look at Rashawn Gary. He played this play different, didn't he? He didn't rush upfield. He stopped and he's looking to contain that inside rush lane. So watch what DeVito does now.
It's 3rd and 7. Doesn't look like there's 7 yards right there. So he's come back to the other side. And now what the great ones do, they extend the play and they make dime-type throws. Like, let's just watch it here and just enjoy it together because this is a big-time play. Play action, feet set, ready to throw. Not there. 3rd and 7. You scoring touchdowns or you kicking field goals? All right? This throw right here, he's looking back, running, and on the run, you make this throw against the rookie Valentine to Hodgins. Like, you can't throw it any better, and he gives him time to get the feet down, toe tap drag, Giants up 21-13. Huge play.
So to answer the question there, I can't remember. I've already taken it off screen and unmarked it. I apologize. Whoever it was that asked the question, thank you for asking that. On that play specifically there, you seen Rashawn Gary, he adjusted, Tim. Instead of rushing outside, he literally stops, takes the inside rush lane away. And if you look on the other side, I'm going to put it up.
If you're building,
if you'll watch Devondre Campbell here, there's a better angle. Campbell's spying here, right? They're playing zone. They love playing this country quarters spot drop inside the 10. That's why their red zone defense is so good most of the time. But look at Dre right here. It's not really a spy. It's not really a spy, but look, he's on him too, right? Just a perfect throw. Absolutely perfect throw.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I'd like to see Dre fire a little bit sooner and take an angle and come downhill at that quarterback rather than I don't know what that was.
Yeah, the problem is, he's thinking his zone too, right? There may be somebody
coming behind him. Yeah,
but you're right. I'm not saying that as an excuse. I'm saying that's the only reason he would have any reason to.
Right, and like you're saying, he's not all out in spy mode. I mean, if he wasn't a spy, then maybe he is. As soon as DeVito rolls out, he's gonna keyhole on him. But you're kind of being a spy, but you're like you said, you have zone principles you have to worry about there. And then Valentine, what can you say? Turn your head, kid. Look for the ball at some point. I mean, you already gave up the leverage, and you got him running to the corner. I mean, I got to think if he can get his head around and glance, maybe we get a PBU there. But, he was beat. But I guess the one positive there is he wasn't, like wide open. He was beat by a good step and a half. Right. That's correctable, right? He's going to see that in the film room. He knows what he did there.
Yeah.
It's a learning moment. And, a great play by the Italian stallion there, right? What are you going to do? We finally make an adjustment, and then DeVito makes an adjustment. It is what it is. We got outplayed. That's what happened. I mean, the kid had himself a game. Good for him.
Yeah. And Laurencio Delgado in the chat said Barry should have caught a spy on 3rd downs. He did. Not all night. And I think if he had there would have been more passing yards. That's the thing you've seen on the final drive too. We run a cover one man spy, and what happened? He picked them apart. You know why? Because you've got one less guy in coverage, one less guy rushing. He's literally one-on-one with the quarterback. He has no other assignment. It makes you weaker in other spots. I'm not defending that call. I'm not saying he should have done it more. I'm not saying he should have done it less. It's just the understanding is no matter what the call is, there's a positive effect and a negative effect to every call you make on the football field. It's 11 on 11. And
Yep.
when you do something to specifically try to take one thing away, you're removing a spot from another aspect of your defense or your offense. You leave a tight end in the chip block because the pass rushing is getting after you. You have one less target in the passing game. Therefore, they're going to gain one more +1 hack count in the secondary. It's going to be harder to fit that ball in there. It's the things I love about football. And I always try to acknowledge that because it really is a simple game, but a complex game. It really is about trying to find that +1. That's how Nick Saban's had so much success in Bama, is his triangle and box defense. He plays a lot of what they call cover 6, and it's zone match principles. It's 2 high shell, much like the Fangio system, with zone match principles. And it's really, really simple. Always stay +1. If there's 3 receivers on one side, you'll play box, right? Which is basically 4 defenders over top, and you box them in. If there's 2 receivers, if you're in a 2x2 set, you play what we call triangle, 3 defenders, and you're going to triangle them in to that zone covering that ground. And depending on what the offense runs determines if and then, like Haddad said, if and then. If they do this, then we do that. But you always stay +1 in the hack count and get after the quarterback with a 4-man rush. I think it was in the game plan, whoever made that comment, to, hey, look, these guys like to just pin their ears back and rush. Let's make them pay for it. And they did. They did. There's no doubt about it. Yep. So, but as far as the spy, Barry did call a spy. Should he have called it every play? Possibly, right? But, yeah, there you go. That's kind of how I see it. So, anyway, let's move on to the next comment here real quick, Tim. Doug said Reed sold out on it, talking about that play concussion protocol in a short week isn't good. Yeah, the fact that it's a short week is definitely the odds are stacked against you. Like I said, if he comes out today, though, and is limited, or tomorrow and is limited, I'm feeling a little bit better about it. Safety first, though, man. That whole CTE and concussion thing ain't nothing to play with, man. It's ruined a lot of lives.
Jaden Reed is not a big dude, but you can see
plays like it, though, don't he?
He's got the heart of a lion. He's but yeah, I mean, we got it. I don't know, man. Mm-hmm. I love it in him, but like that is not the guy we want to use as a battering ram in short yardage situations. I'm all for the flyer, coming around the edge or a little jet motion here and there, get them in space, get guys to hit their blockers. But the lower the boom and going in, that he's a young guy. He's got a bright future ahead of him, right. And we are asking a lot of him right now, and right. It's understandable. We're down Aaron Jones, we're down Christian Watson. We need those spark. We're down Tay Wicks now, so we need that spark. And I got to respect Jaden Reed for playing grown man, big boy football all the time. You'll love it, but hopefully he's going to be healthy here going forward.
It's cool to see him get noticed nationally now too. There's a lot of people talking about Jaden Reed. Hearing the McAfee show talk about him, he's going to be a dog, man. There's no doubt about it. He's you can see it too. When I went back and looked at the 2021 tape, that's when the light turned on for me. I was like, holy cow, this is before he ever played a game for the Packers. It's like, wow, his 2021 tape is way different than 2022. You can see what they saw in him. So maybe kind of rethink my whole draft board process and including 2-year or 1 year removed of college tape to make sure you don't miss on people like that in the future. But Zane Strong in the chat said, what is Tampa good and bad at this season? I hope we attack their weakness. We're going to get into it a little later in the week, Zane. What I typically like to do is study tendencies and then bring you guys that information on the air. I don't have that prep because we were going to talk about the PFF grades from the game on Monday night, and then we'll kind of step into that. We're going to do chalk talk a little later, and then we'll have all the Tampa tendencies. But what I do have is the updated, since you brung it up, I've got the updated team statistics here, okay? So let's see where they fall in that regard and kind of show you what their strength or weakness may be. Now, understand we don't have the entire list, but we may see them pop up here. Let's go to offense points per game, okay? This is basically how many points each offense is averaging per game. So let's look for Tampa on this list. The idea was to highlight Green Bay here, but if Tampa does show up on the list, if they don't show up on the list, then we could say, okay, they're probably not very effective, right? I'm going to drop your comment down real quick. So Tampa Bay 22nd in points per game. Now, immediately people go, wow, that's low. Yeah, but look at the last 3. The second column in the last 3 games, they're up to 23.3. So if you were to take their last 3 and throw it into the first column, where would they rank? So NFL-wise, in the last 3 games, they're pretty much playing as a top 10 defense overall on the year, okay? So when you look at the average throughout the year, though, points per game, they're 22nd. So they're turning it on of late. It's starting to click. Their last game, they scored 29 points. At home, they're averaging 16.3 points scored. On the road, they're 23.4. So they actually score more points on the road. We all know it's going to be at Lambeau. So just something to keep an eye on. Now, where Green Bay ranks, they're actually tied for 17th at 21.5 points. I know some people have convinced themselves now that this offense is firing on all cylinders and they're absolutely excellent. The numbers don't suggest that, although in the last 3, they're averaging 26 points per game. So if you take that in here of recently, that would make them the 8th best or 7th best. 8th best offense as far as points per game in the last 3 games. So here of lately, they're turning it on. Let's hope they can continue that, because that's definitely what they need, especially when the defense hits their snags. You know, the defense has been the bright point all year long. I know people don't want to hear it, but when you look at the points per game, the points per play, they're what's keeping you in ball games.
Yep.
This last game, obviously, that last drive was hard to watch. It was. So you're only as good as your last game. We talk about it all the time, Tim. It's what people are going to remember the most, for sure. When you go to points per play, let's do this. Now, for whatever reason, there was an ad that kept popping on the right, so I couldn't have the entire column and show you guys home and away, but we got kind of the gist of it here. In points per play, which I feel like is a more important metric to really judge an offense off of than points per game, because it removes a little bit of the noise in the filtering of that stat. Green Bay is 14th. Tampa is 19th. Okay, so now when you look at the second column, the last 3 games, 0.387, that would actually put them in the number 8 spot in the last 3 games if you were to put it in that column of the entire season. So I know none of this stuff is compared in a vacuum. I got you. I understand that mindset, but that's kind of their offensive point. I think I feel real comfortable saying, Tim, they're right around a top 20 offense, right around the 20 spot. Anything you want to hit on there, man?
I mean, just to kind of back up your point there, you know, the reason I think one of the big reasons that we lost to the Giants, what, like you said, was the defense had a bad day. And I think if you look at our track record, I think offensively we didn't look great either. But, you know, the way our defense typically plays, if we got a game like that out of them guys, this might have been a 22 to 17 type affair, 22 to 14 type affair. If our defense plays a little bit better, and of course we don't have the miscues with the turnovers that led to points as well. So with Tampa Bay coming up to Green Bay here, you know, we gotta take that into consideration. If our defense plays well, we should win this game. You know, so we've got to account for Tampa Bay. They've got weapons. I'm pretty sure Baker Mayfield's healthy and will be playing, as far as I understand. If that's true or not, I don't follow the Buccaneers too much, but I do know that if that's true, that, you know, Baker Mayfield you can say a lot of things about him, but he's got that dog in him too. And that guy will run through a wall for his team. A lot like your boy Will Levis is doing as well. He's kind of that type of a quarterback and a leader. You know, if you think you're going to get pressure to Baker Mayfield and rattle him, that's not going to happen. He can be one of those guys that actually plays better if you're getting after him. So I think defensively we got to be on our toes, and if we execute better offensively, we should be okay. But you know, Tampa Bay is a better team than the Giants that we just lost to. So of course,
no doubt about it.
Baker Mayfield's no cutlet or anything like that, but yeah, you know, forget about it, you know. But hey, we gotta, you know, you don't want to fear your opponent. You want to respect your opponent. You know, nobody's afraid of Tampa Bay, but we cannot afford to do what we did on Monday and take anything for granted and think we can just, you know, walk out with a dub. So, you know, it's an important game here Sunday. We'll see how this defense responds after probably one of their worst performances of the season. So hopefully a get-right game here, bounce-back game.
Yeah, we got made fun of for calling it a trap game. LaFleur, people rolled their eyes when LaFleur said the reality is we're a 6-16 because they were on a heater. You seen it. It happens, man. Happens every week. Any given Sunday, man.
This league will humble you quick.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Jim in the chat said defense failed. And then he said defense was disgraceful. So appreciate the comment there, Jim. Nick points out something very important. Didn't the offense turn the ball over 2 to 3 times? What's getting lost in the shuffle of everything is, yes, we turned the ball over twice there. 7 of those points. Keep in mind, we held the New York Giants to 7 points in the first half. People forget that. So what happened? What went wrong, Clayton? Turnovers.
Yeah.
The Keyshawn Nixon muff punt, right? That led to another 7 points. Put the ball right down there. And again, those type of stats are why people don't like points per game. Completely understand. But on the defensive side, it actually tells you when stuff like that happens, your points per game is going to inflate, which means you're probably a little better because it's not taking into account those situations, right? If you were to remove that noise, it'd be even better. That's why I like points per play allowed as well. We're going to hit on that next. But yeah, in that specific situation, not only did Keyshawn Nixon turn it over, gave them an extremely short field, they took it right in for a touchdown, which will make the numbers look crazy skewed, but also people forget it was a 3 and out right before it when you forced the punt. So you came out, forced the 3 and out. And I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, let me look at the timestamp here because I know I've got it. The muff punt. I know I've got it's going to be on Chalk Talk for sure. Yeah, the muff punt. So it came. Guess when it came, Tim? It came during the middle 8.
I was just going to say, was it middle 8? Yeah.
We came out in the third quarter and got a 3 and out on them. Kenny Clark got a run stuff, right? On 3rd and 1. So the defense came out in the third quarter during the middle 8, the most crucial time. For those of you who don't know, the middle 8's the last 4 minutes of the first half, the first 4 minutes of the second half. You take those numbers and you put them in a category with the turnover differential. Typically, the team that wins both of those will win the game. It's something like it's in the 90s, the 90 percentile, right? So you come out in the second half. Joe Barry just held them to 7 points in the first half, he and his defense. They come out and immediately in the third quarter get a 3 and out stop. Keyshawn Nixon muffs the punt. They take it right in for 7 points, and then the floodgates open. So they won the middle 8 and the turnover differential. They won the turnover differential by 1 point. They won both of those key statistics, the middle 8 and the turnover differential, on one play. That muff punt, if you want to put anything, this isn't a shot at Keyshawn. All these people that are trying to say it's Joe Barry's fault, it's Matt LaFleur's fault because he called too many reverses, it's Jordan Love's fault because he didn't protect the football. There's plenty of blame to go around. But I'm telling you right now, from an analytics standpoint, from a Vegas odds standpoint, that muff punt, it completely determined the outcome of the game. And you were still in the game down the stretch. I understand it's hard to watch the defense get dog walk down the field, but it's going to happen when you play man coverage. And it's now been confirmed by Matt LaFleur. They were playing man coverage. And we covered it yesterday. We're going to hit on it again. We played the video where I think Matt LaFleur, what he's saying in that, and I asked the Packers fans, what do you think he's saying? I think what he's saying there, and people are overlooking it because they hate Joe Barry, he's saying, yeah, the players can't line up that far off. Now, immediately go, well, that's the defensive coordinator's fault. We've heard over and over and over, Matt LaFleur has said it from his mouth, we give our defensive players freedom to line up where they want to line up. So,
well, then that needs to change. Then
it does.
And be a leader. It starts.
Should have never been a thing. Should have never been a thing, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. Have we not realized the experiment isn't working?
Right.
You know, it's different when you've got Jair and Rasul running around back there, and you're giving guys like that, some freedom. But when you've got first year players, not a good look, especially in a man set. So now you're in man, and then you're going to tell them they can line up wherever they want. Recipe for disaster.
Yeah, it really is, man. And that's what's crazy too is like, the whole prevent defense talk was just, oh my God. I had Carly hit me up. She was sending me screenshots of the comment section of other live streams where people were going, we were playing prevent. Well, you can play prevent and man. Of course you can. Prevent is 3 deep with man under. We were playing single high cover one man. People don't want to take the time to actually watch the tape, study, and understand, okay, we're playing cover one man in the corner on that upside is just playing 10 yards off the ball. By the way, who was it? Remember the video we showed just a second ago, the touchdown pass?
Yep.
A 7th round rookie, because we wanted to get a 3rd round pick out of Rasul Douglas.
And I just don't get, let's say we don't play off and we press up And we get roasted over the top anyway. What are we going to say then?
Right. And that's the thing too. Like for the people who were upset that they were playing soft on that drive, they refused to acknowledge the fact that the 32-yarder, the gash, right, that put them in field goal range, we were playing 3 yards off the receiver in man coverage.
Yep.
Like the bend but don't break was working to that point. You were at that point, you got to know as the Packers defensive coordinator, the clock is now the opponent. We need that clock to run out on them before they get within field goal range. And if they do get within field goal range, let's make them try a 55-yarder or a 60-yarder. Instead, Keyshawn got caught. This is Matt LaFleur's words, not mine, peeking into the backfield, playing man coverage. You got to keep your eyes on your work. What he's saying there is when you're in man coverage, you can't look at anything else. You're reading body language. You're reading tendencies. Keyshawn, the last game, Tim, talked about they've been studying tendencies of the quarterback and the receivers, right? He got caught peeking. Now, listen, Keyshawn owned it. He said, man, look, I played like crap. Like, this is on me. He's right, but you win and you lose as a team. There's other opportunities in that game. Anders Carlson could have hit the field goal, right? Although he went 3 for 4, so I'm not going to sit here and dog him. Jordan Love could have protected the ball, not turned it over twice. Although, he's trying to fight for an extra yard to get a first down on a read option. He's getting hit by 3 defenders. It's hard to sit here and go, what's he thinking, right? It's I'm not going to be the podcast that tries to throw one guy under the bus. I'm not going to do it. And to just sit here and pretend like it's all Matt LaFleur's fault. It's all Jordan Love's fault. It's all Joe Barry's fault. It's all Keyshawn Nixon's fault. It's silly. I don't want to.
It's a team loss. Yeah. Rooter to the tutor, top to bottom. Everybody failed in this game. Right. It is what it is. Like there's plenty of mistakes to go around.
Absolutely. Completely agree, man. All right. So we hit on that. Let's hit on defense since we were talking about defense, right? Let's go to points per play or points per game for defense, okay? And again, the ab was up, so I couldn't hit. I'd love to be able to see their home and away, what they do at home and away, because I think it's important for key matchups. Let me drop this comment down. Again, Nick, thank you for the comment, buddy. So points per game defense-wise, Green Bay is currently sitting 11th. Tampa is sitting 13th. So Green Bay has now dropped to 11th. We talked about that muff punt that led to 7 points. That obviously hurts it. When you look at the last 3 games now, with Green Bay in the 11th place at 20.5, and the last 3 games are giving up 21.7. So if you look over to the left-hand column, that would drop you out of the top 20. So in the last 3 games, you're starting to see the defense start to struggle a touch, right? That's what you're seeing. Now, of course, this last game, it was 24 points. That was kind of the big outlier because they held Patrick Mahomes to, I think, right around 20 points, under 20 points, 19, right? And obviously in Detroit, they got a little bit of a mop-up there when we went. More of a prevent defense down the stretch, up by 14 points. And, they got that garbage time touchdown as well. So all those things, I think they're important to me to put everything into context. But for some, they don't want to acknowledge it. That's totally cool. You can fan how you want to fan. Points per game right now, Green Bay's currently 11th. Points per play, Green Bay is 10th at 0.31. Tampa is 12th. So you see these defenses are very, very similar in points per game, points per play, Tim. Offense, Green Bay's got the better offense than Tampa. This has the makings of another one-score game.
Yep.
Decided by 1, 2, or 3 points, right? Luckily, we're in Lambeau. Hopefully, we'll get a little bit of home field advantage there. Not talking ref-wise, just the boys being comfortable, sleeping in their own bed, all that stuff. But anything you want to hit on defense-wise here is Green Bay is still right there. Yeah, I know people hate to see it, but they're still in the top 10 in scoring defense, and they are losing their mind because they just want every negative metric they can point to blame the defense for what's going on. But turnover differential is what wins you ball games. Turnover differential, middle eight, situational football, making the mistakes at the big times, and that's what happened on Monday. That's what I seen anyway. But
yeah.
What do you think, Tim?
I think we're going to have another close game, like you said, and I think this defense is going to bounce back, and they're going to get after it. We're probably in the minority of the opinion, but our defense has been pretty good this year. Pretty good this year. So good defenses, when they have a crap performance like they did on Monday, they usually bounce back. And I fully anticipate this D stepping up, almost like taking that approach we've been taking offensively. Offensively, we've been saying, hey, give us the ball, play action bomb, start the game, whatever, end around, jet sweep, start the game, whatever. Let's get rolling. I think we're going to see that with our defense against Tampa Bay. I think we're going to see aggressive defense. And, hopefully a lot of 3-and-outs, hopefully some takeaways, and hopefully our offense, protects the football and moves the sticks. We can't have drives stalling out. That's the worst thing, is when you put a drive together and then you get nothing, or you're kicking three-pointers all day. We talk about the kicker and all of this. It's like, if you're worrying about one field goal in your game, chances are you made some other mistakes that got you in that position.
And here's the thing too. And Jim, I think this is who Jim's talking about. If it isn't, I apologize. You guys correct me. He said all that matters is his performance, and it hasn't been very reliable. He's talking about Anders Carlson, the kicker, I assume, right? What's getting lost in the shuffle too, and this is why we do chalk talk in the game flow aspect. You see, he missed a field goal. He didn't hit all 4 of his field goals as a rookie, right? It's on him. Did you see the play before? We lost 10 yards on a sack.
Yep.
We took a sack and made a chip shot field goal more difficult. Those things matter. They matter. So it's funny that, 4 weeks ago it was get rid of Love. Love isn't the guy, right? Then we go through this spell where he plays hot, and again, his last 4 games, 9 touchdowns, 1 interception, I think. And it's now Love can't be blamed for anything. It drives me insane. Like,
one extreme to the next.
Yeah. If you see it, you got to say it. If it happened in the game, do the research, find the key important plays in the specific situations. This is what I'm talking about here, in these specific situations, and how you get a run stuff coming out in the middle late. You're about to seal up the middle late, right? And instead you turn the ball over, you lose the turnover differential and the middle late on one muff punt, one specific play. If you refuse to acknowledge that and gloss over that stuff, then you're giving an inaccurate depiction of what actually happened in the game. And if that's what people want to do, hey, have at it, fan the way you want to fan. But they're not going to jump in my mentions and be like, oh, you're making excuses. I'm making excuses by showing you more information, like showing you exactly what happened play for play. Like, that's 2023.
Which is something that these people won't do. They won't chart a game.
And we're not talking about Jim. We're talking about other people.
Right. No. We're talking about that whole narrative,
right?
That whole demographic of fan out there, Right. And that's not a knock, like we always say, fan how you want to fan. There, some people don't want to fan that way. They don't want to get into every play, and
just don't.
We know the advantages that it brings when you chart a game. It puts you in the game more. You're paying more attention. You realize just how fast a football game goes. Most people watch football and they think, a game takes all day. It's 3 hours or watching football. It's like, man, that game is an hour. The game is 1 hour of football and 2.5 hours of Bud Light commercials. So what are you going to do when you chart a game, man? You really do. It gets you into the every moment. You understand what's going on, and we're not doing our rookie kicker any favors here in a lot of these situations. And you expect any kicker that pressure or not, you got one job, put the ball through the uprights. I understand that.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more than just foot on the football when you're kicking. There's a snap, there's a hold, there's a rush. There's a lot of variables. Anything can go wrong on a 25-yard field goal, let alone a 45 or 50, 55 plus field goal. And again, kicking on turf outside, that's another variable. Like I said, the only thing worse than turf is turf outdoors. I'll never understand it. It's like kicking on wet carpeting. But hey, this kid's going to turn it around. He's building his repertoire as a pro right now, and I think he's just going to get better with time. We got to be patient. We have to be patient.
Yeah, definitely. So, Jim, you said all that matters is performance, and it's been very unreliable in a situation like that where you end up losing. If he hits that 4th field goal and he goes 100% on the day, you win the game. I completely understand that, man. I really do. It's a tough look, right? It's tough to swallow. But when you look at the kicking statistics, now you guys correct me if I'm wrong, if you find that these numbers are inaccurate, because this website I found, I was like, this looks like as ghetto as it gets, but I couldn't find the kicking statistics that would sort correctly on any other site. So I think these are accurate. Okay. They should be up to date to the best of my knowledge. If they are, then currently Anders Carlson is sitting 11th in the league in kick and field goal percentage. Okay. I tried to sort it for extra point too to kind of get an idea of where he ranks there. Unfortunately, the site kept locking up when I tried to do that. So field goal percentage, he's 11th at 80%. He's hitting 80% of his field goals according to this, Tim. As a rookie kicker, I am happy with that. Like, you're talking about a top 10 kicker in accuracy, a borderline top 10 kicker in accuracy. Because I think, 10th, he's actually tied for 10th. I apologize. He's 11th on this list. He's tied for 10th. And it looks like Randy Bullock's only attempted 5 kicks, if I'm looking at that correctly. So much your sample size for Anders Carlson. So you could say he's legit a top 10 accurate kicker. Now, when you look at the extra point percentage, I think that's something that's kind of stood out. He's missed a few extra points. He's still at 88.9%. On extra point percentage. I believe that's the number over there that we're looking at. So I couldn't sort by it, but just wanted to give an update on Anders because it got talked about by Matt LaFleur too. He said when asked, Bill Huber on Twitter says they asked Matt LaFleur, are you committed to Anders Carlson? I'll just read the tweet. Bill Huber tweeted out, LaFleur is, quote, absolutely committed to Carlson for the rest of the season. If there was any doubt, they asked him, he said, are you committed to keeping him as your kicker? He said, absolutely. So I'm sure Matt's looking up going, he's hitting 80% of his damn kick.
Yeah, like if there's any doubt, you're doing this wrong, guys. You know, like there. I don't know. Can we get those numbers back up on the screen real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
I saw something so a couple names on here, some other younger kickers, Atlanta, Mr. Koo in Atlanta, a guy who had a rookie season, if memory serves me correct, pretty similar to the type of rookie season Anders Carlson is having. And, Koo is certainly one of the top kickers in the league now. Yeah. There's a lot of guys that, I don't know if this is a Packer fan thing, if this is something that we do, or if a lot of teams do this, they're fans, but we expect people to come in and just be phenomenal right away. We expect them to be perfect every Sunday, every game. And we gloss over the fact that, this is a learning process, and playing football in college and playing football in the NFL are very different. And so is kicking a football in college versus kicking in the NFL. We have to be aware of the fact that this is a rookie. Now, if Anders was in year 5 or 6 or something, okay, now we might want to have a conversation about some of the inconsistencies, but he's a rookie, guys. We gotta be patient. Yeah,
definitely. Cheesehead Murphy in the chat said Crosby got picked and let go in the same week. What does that say? We were talking about that offline, Murph. It's Crosby got added to the roster out there in LA. Like Tim said, a lot of fire under their kicker, and then boom, he's gone again. Right? I think it says that Goop made the right decision. Right? You guys know I've been critical of Goop. I have never been accused of being a Goot licker. I've been one on the other side that they think that I'm calling people Goot licker. That's not what I'm doing either.
And I'm pretty sure if we had Mace still here kicking, what would people be? What would the argument be if he's not doing well?
Oh yeah, what it.
Then we're gonna hear, well, we should have moved on, and why didn't they keep drafted Anders Carlson? They should have kept that kid. So it's like I don't get it. Guys, it's his rookie year. To be honest with you, I thought he was going to be worse. Coming out of camp, we were really nervous.
Dude, I thought it was going to be like, oh, he's going to be down there around 50%. Like,
yeah, and when I look at these numbers, it's like,
what else could you ask for, man?
It's a rookie. Yeah,
we've got to get to the PFF grades because I put that in the title, and I'm tired of putting something in the title and us getting off on tangents. But this is important though, Tim. These kicking numbers, man, it's so important. Number one Packer fan said it's only 4 games left in the season. Why would anyone ask him that question? Of course, he's going to stick with him. You know why, buddy? You know why? Because they try to corner him, man. They do what they can to try to get.
And hey, one more Mason thing. Here's the other thing. Are we sending Mason Crosby onto the field for anything longer than 45, 40, 48, 47?
Probably 50, I would think, is probably the peak.
And we're going to be saying a prayer before every kick with him at 50 plus.
But Anders can put that thing a couple rows up into the stadium if you need
to. Can. And let me tell you, when Anders tweaks that accuracy and gets that leg under him how he needs to, and he's hitting with accuracy from that range. We'll see what the narrative is about our kicker here in the next few seasons.
I think, for everyone who says he's going to miss a kick, cost us the game, I think there's going to be one down the stretch here that he booms and we go, look at this. I think it could happen. I expect rookie kickers to miss kicks, guys. Like, again, it's like going into the season, me saying we're going to win 6 to 10 games. That's not to brag and go, I called it. No, it's like try to really sit down and look at the team and look at the kicker and, okay, what have rookies done in the past and this and that? What have kickers done in the past? And create a realistic kind of prediction or expectation, I should say, man. But Nathan in the chat, appreciate you. Nathaniel Schneider says, Crosby was 81% career. Longwell was 83%. Carlson is at 80% on the year. He's doing fine. Thank you for pulling those numbers, Nathaniel, because it is so important to compare players to what people have done in the past. Sometimes you can look at the current year and think, okay, that's the tell-all, end-all. It's important to kind of look at it over. So essentially, Tim, if Carlson is over 80%, I think he's the kicker moving forward. I feel
he's right on pace. It's so funny because we always talk about the quarterbacks in Green Bay. It's like, man, we've had some kickers. I grew up on Chris Jackie, man. Watching that guy kick the ball was phenomenal. And I mean, we've had some legends here, man. Mace and Ryan Longwell. This is good company to see Anders Carlson in here, and I fully expect the field goal percentage to increase here over the next few years.
Yeah, definitely. I'm telling you right now, I did not have kicker on my bingo card today for what we were going to this long. So hilarious because the chat loves it, evidently. Jennifer, I'll hit a couple more here. Jennifer says, take off dome kickers. Bet he's even higher. Think about that, too. Some of those kickers, like Dallas's kicker, 100%. Look, he's kicking down there in Jerry World. Yep. Jerry Jones down there bringing him a margarita, let him get a sip of a Bloody Mary before he goes out there in his nice climate-controlled kicking situation. Anders out there kicking in the swirling winds of Lambeau. And then, obviously, Giant Stadium is one of the toughest places to kick field goals, from what I've heard. So, MetLife Stadium, I should say. I apologize. Dakota, last comment here, and then we'll go to the PFF grades real quick as we wrap up. Dakota says, I can't wait until Anders kicks a game-winning field goal. It'll happen in the playoffs. I'm calling it, dude. If he kicks a game winner in the wild card round of the playoffs, if we make it to the playoffs, we all understand. Some people are listening to this going, wow, y'all think y'all are a slam dunk. No, nobody's saying that. But if we make it to the playoffs and he kicks a game winner in the wild card, mark my words, I will buy an Anders Carlson jersey. If they don't exist, I will have one custom made to wear on this show right here. And who knows, he may be gone in 2 years and I regret it, but I will do it, Tim. I will do it. All right, let's do this PFF grades, man. We got to hit on them. We should have hit on them yesterday. I apologize, but I get to talking with you guys in the chat and get sidetracked here. Offensive grades from the Giants game. I'll just go from top to bottom here. There's no real nobody that you can really pull out here because they had a limited amount of snaps. Everybody towards the top, everybody pretty much on the list had a significant amount of snaps, so we'll just rattle them off. Number 1, Patrick Taylor, 77.9, had 32 snaps. Tucker Kraft, 76.4. Tim, that's what we've been looking for, bro. He played 68 snaps and graded out a 76.4. Not just that, in the passing game, 72.0. In the run block or the pass blocking, 74.1. Run blocking, 70.5. Tucker Kraft's getting his feet under him. God, I hope this is normal. I hope this is the new norm. It's why you take multiple swings on positions of need in the draft, because if you miss on one, you hit on another. I think they hit on both. We got to get Musgrave healthy. You will never hear me moan and complain about 12 personnel again if Tucker Kraft is playing like this and Luke Musgrave shows what he's done early in the year too. I'm so excited about Tucker Kraft. I hope this is normal. Now, overall in the season, we're going to pull those up a little later in the week and kind of see how consistent players have been. But, man, what a game. What a coming out party for Tucker Kraft. Zach Tom, 72.2, held his own over there against Thibodeau. Rasheed Walker, left tackle, 67.7. A.J. Dillon, 66.1. His pass blocking grade really drug him down at a 43.0. Running grade was 64.7. A.J. in the passing game, 72.5, though, man. Great catch and run. We'll talk about that maybe on the next episode. Samori Toure, 66.0, only 18 snaps. Dontavian Wicks, 65.6, 43 snaps. Dontavian Wicks is just steady Eddie, man. John Runyon rebounded a little bit, 65.0. Jordan Love, you guys heard me say on the postgame show, I just pray to sweet baby Jesus he ain't in the red. He wasn't in the red, thank God. So he finished at 58.6, still a horrible game, obviously. You could see it all over the tape. He was inaccurate in the first half, turned the ball over twice. That's a grade he deserved, and let's hope that this is a little valley and he's going to go right back to the peak again that we've seen the previous 3 games. Jaden Reed, even though he scored the tud, had a little bit of an off night, 56.6, so something to monitor there. Sean Ryan, 56.0. Everybody was screaming for Sean Ryan. Again, you see it. Pass block, 81.7. Run block, 54.8. Yosh Nyman, 55.9. Malik Heath, 55.8. Got to get more consistent with Malik, but, man, those 2 touchdown catches at the end were just phenomenal. I know one didn't count, but I'm still calling it a touchdown catch because it's just a great job improvising, getting open, strong hands. Although they batted it out after he took the 3rd step. It's a tough call. I won't go there.
I don't get that. My buddy Tony was asking the same question. So if you're going to the sideline and you make a catch and you get 2 feet down and you maintain possession, that's a catch.
Mm-hmm.
Why is the rule different in the end zone?
Right. I don't get it, man. I don't understand. Anyway, topic for another day, Tim. I know it. Crazy, bro. Josiah DeGuara, 55.1. Romeo Dobbs, 54.7. Josh Myers, 54.6. Ben Sims, 52.4. Ben Sims only getting 10 snaps really says a lot about Tucker Kraft, guys. It says a whole lot about Tucker Kraft. Because, going in this game, it's like, okay, maybe Ben Sims is more cut out than Tucker Kraft right now. And, no, Tucker Kraft took a huge step forward. Josh Myers, though, 54.6. All those people that did their victory lap 3 weeks ago, oh, where are they at? I thought Josh Myers was horrible. Don't count your chickens before they hatch, man. 54.6, pass blocking grade, 30.0, run blocking grade, 61.4. The Jaden Reed run down the sideline, not the touchdown, but the other of the 32 end arounds that Matt LaFleur called. He had a nice play there. The only positive play that I've seen from Josh Myers on the day. I'm telling you, he was all over the tape, just looking sloppy. Got to get center fixed, man. In the last 2 games, we were in here going, man, maybe he's turning the corner. Maybe this is it. Consistency, man, it's huge. So I'm eager to see how he grades out once all this falls into place. Anything you want to hit on there offensively? What sticks out to you, man?
Yeah, Patrick Taylor, number 1 on the list. Thought we got a pretty good performance out of him. I had a question for you on the receivers, like Toure and Reed, SRY. Wide receiver, is that slot? Are they saying slot receiver / wide receiver? What does that designation mean?
The what now?
For the position, when you're looking at receiver.
Oh, yeah, it's just basically saying that's where they lined up the majority of the time.
Slot, okay.
Yeah, that's slot. Yeah, I imagine that's what they did, slot there.
And then the other right and left wide out. Okay, I see.
It gives you a good idea of like how the depth chart says. Like Jaden Reed is your slot receiver. Samori Toure is kind of the backup slot. So when players go out, Jaden slides into the Z. Samori Toure will come in. Of course, Samori Toure actually replaced Jaden Reed, but I think they try to narrow that down to where they line up. Right wide receiver, left wide receiver, and then slot.
Okay. Makes sense.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and then Zach Tom, of course, stands out. You talk about steady Eddie. I mean, one thing for sure we don't have to worry about on our offensive line, thank God. And then, yeah, Tucker Kraft, absolute dog. You got to love a tight end that just wants to go out and hit somebody, whether that's blocking, whether that's I have the ball and I'm going to lower the boom. I mean, I love it. Hard-nosed tight end. I love it.
Yeah, definitely. Trying to keep up in the chat here. Let's jump over to the defense real quick, and then we'll get ready to wrap this thing up. I got to get going for sure. On the defensive side of the ball, you've got let's see, Devontae White, 89.7. Great game from White. Only 29 snaps. He got banged up there. I think about right around halftime, it seemed like it was. I think it was pretty early in the game, if I remember correctly. TJ Slayton, 86.9 with 34 snaps. Guys doing their job in the middle, right? It's just, again, what did Tommy DeVito do all day long? Drop back, stepped up, and scrambled out through the rush lane, right? That would make you think, okay, how did the edge defenders do? I'm glad you asked. Preston Smith, 63.8. Rashawn Gary, 58.6. Who do you think PFF thinks it's their fault, right? Kingsley and Ibori had 20 snaps, 40.9. But again, back to the positive. Eric Wilson, you guys heard us talk about him. It's only 1 snap, 75.2. But that dude, every time he's on the field, like he made a play on that 4th down stop. he and McDuffie, he got in the backfield, or he got to the line of scrimmage just enough to wrap the running back up, and then McDuffie came in and just, bulldozed them. Eric Wilson, I think, is one of those players. He's an unsung hero on this team, and if he ever has to play in a pinch, I feel really comfortable with Eric Wilson being out there. Kobe Wooden, only 7 snaps, but 73.3 for the rookie. Our boy Lucas Van Ness, only 14 snaps, but 72.1. Tim, I'm telling you, man, he's slowly coming along, dude. I think he's going to be starting next year. I really do. Yep. Isaiah McDuffie, we talk about how he's just one of those players. He's not going to make huge mistakes. He's just kind of steady Eddie as well. 40 snaps, 68.3 PFF grade. Not bad for McDuffie. Carrington Valentine, 66.3. Tackling grade was good. Coverage grade was 69.0. Tackle was 77.8. Run fit, though, 53.1. Not great. Like we said, Preston Smith, 63.8. Rudy Ford, 63.1. Kenny Clark, 62.3. Not a great game from Kenny. Not horrible, but not great, obviously. Jonathan Owens, 62.2. Devondre Campbell, man, he just continues to struggle, 59.2. You've seen it all day long, too. Well, we just talked about on that play we broke down to DeVito. It's like you wish he was a little more aggressive there. Those are the little things that you're going to get graded low on for sure. Rashawn Gary, 58.6. Darnell Savage, 57.9. Carl Brooks had a bad game, 24 snaps, 50.7. Corey Ballantyne, 46.1. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to read off Rasul Douglas's PFF grade, but you can use your own imagination there, okay? Kingsley and Igbare, 20 snaps, 40.9. Keyshawn Nixon, we talked about it. I don't mean to pile on. He's the lowest graded player on defense in the slot corner position, 40.1. That doesn't even include his special teams grade. That I'm sure was fairly low too with the muff punt. But Tim, what do you want to hit on right here, buddy?
My defense, they didn't have themselves a good game at all. Zay McDuffie, though, what's telling too is we talk about how good he is tackling and his run fits and things like that. But he graded at a 68.5 on coverage, which I think is pretty good for Isaiah McDuffie. So that shows a little bit more versatility in his game. Sticking with the linebackers with Dre, I think what you're seeing is a veteran player that mentally has the tools and the experience, but physically his body is probably limiting some of the movement that he wants to make. And that might explain some of these plays where we don't see him being as aggressive as maybe we did last year or in previous years. Dre has had multiple nagging injuries that he's been dealing with, and none of these are excuses. This is just the reality. If you have 2 bad ankles and you're trying to close out on a scrambling quarterback, I mean, come on, guys, you're going to be at a disadvantage. So I think that's what we're seeing with Dre. His play and execution on the field is really suffering due to the constraints on him physically. And it says a lot that he's out there getting after it still. So, being down Quay Walker doesn't help. It's, everyone's got to step up and, sticking with the linebacker theme, I'd love to see Eric Wilson get more than 1 snap going forward. If Quay's going to miss another week, not that we know that that's going to happen, hopefully not, but we need to start thinking about peppering in Eric Wilson because he's kind of a spark plug in the middle there for sure.
Yeah, definitely. He's just one of those guys that's nice to have him on the depth chart. We'll briefly hit on special teams because we're out of time here. Just real quick, if you guys would hit that like button for us so other Packer fans can find this content, find this channel, we appreciate y'all hanging out with us on this Wednesday morning for Good Morning Lambeau. PFF grade-wise, Eric Wilson, 62.9, the second highest, only behind the long snapper. Eric Wilson played 22 special team snaps. Great job by Goody and the guys bringing him back and making sure he stays on this roster because he's playing a key role. He's one of the unsung heroes. There's no two ways about it. Now, when you look for Keyshawn Nixon, he's in the 14th spot at 60.5. If he hadn't had that muff punt, probably would have had a decent PFF grade. But again, it was I don't mean to pile on, but it was hands down the most important play of the day. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
So we'll finish up in the chat here real quick. Tim, let me get your parting thoughts.
I guess we'll talk about Keyshawn. That was, that muff punt was just a mental error is really what it was. It was a thing that happens, right? I don't care who you are. You could be the best returner in the league. You're going to muff a punt probably at least once a year. We had Jaden Reed bobbled one earlier this year, and to his credit, fell on top of it immediately. But I think, with Keyshawn, just to defend the logic here, Keyshawn's a playmaker. Okay, that's the reason we like him. That's the reason he's made a name for himself here. And so when a playmaker thinks he has a chance to make a play, he's going to do that. And the error was thinking that he had a chance to make a play there. When he fell on that ball, he should have just stayed on it. But he's thinking, man, I can get up and spin out and get another.
Trying to make a play.
I love him for that. I really do. But that cost us dearly. That was the mistake. And I'm sure if you asked him, he would tell you that hey, I thought I could
absolutely
play.
Yeah. Already has, yeah.
Yeah. So hey, it is what it is. Next time I'm sure he doesn't. Carly Ray had talked about that in our chat. He's probably not going to make that mistake again. There it is. He knows if that happens again, he falls on it. But yeah, guys, final thoughts. Get ready for Tampa. Get ready for another nail biter. We're going to get to bite them nails, let them grow out until Sunday. So you got something to nibble on while you're watching this one. But I got a feeling I'd love to see a boat race. I'd love to boat race them, but I don't know. Something tells me it's going to be a one-score game.
I agree. And I know people, they get uncomfortable talking about that. I love it. I love close games, dude. I'm that dude on the edge of my seat. Like, this is what – listen, it's great to see your team blow another team out, and obviously any fan would want to see that over a tight game, but there's just something about those close games where, the game hinges on every single play, like the Keyshawn Nixon, play.
I'm just hoping we can get one of those, Clayton. Like, just once, can we boat race a team and just –
Right, yeah.
Please?
Well, that's the thing, man. Like, in Green Bay, it's been – we have boat race teams in the past, under McCarthy and other, and obviously LaFleur when he got here early. But for the most part, it's very rare you see the Packers lose by more than 2 scores. Like, you're in every game. And as a fan, I know this is going to tick some people off, but as a fan, that's all I can ask for, is to have meaningful football every single Sunday for decades. Like, it's hard for me to complain, I just want to be in it. I want to be in it and have a shot. I couldn't imagine being a fan of teams like Carolina right now, where it's just like, oh my God, because we were looking at that this year. People thought, hey, there's a chance that could be us. We don't know how this young team's going to perform. But Ron in the chat says, I've been a Packers fan for 50 years. Hey, we appreciate that, Ron. Thank you for holding that flag up, man. And if you think moving on from players and not having patience like most teams, we will become a team like the Bad News Bears, it's a fact, man. If some of the fan base got what they wanted, we would be right down there with them, because we would have pulled the plug on everybody early. Jordan Love would be gone. Matt LaFleur would be gone. Brian Gutekunst would be gone. All down the line.
And we never hear a realistic suggestion for a replacement or a plan. We just hear complaining, moaning, and fire these people. We never hear a proposed solution. So I don't get it.
Yeah, me neither, man. Me neither. All right, let's see here. Sound like Jim's in here upsetting everybody, but let's keep it clean in the chat, guys, please. For God's sakes, let's
talking about kicking.
Can't we all just get along? Jennifer Wright in the chat says Myers had Lawrence all day. I didn't look up each time and go, yep, he's got Lawrence here. Talking about Dexter Lawrence. If that's the case, Jennifer, that's a great observation, and we need to take that into consideration. Dexter Lawrence is one of the best in the game. So thank you for pointing that out. And we'll get to monitor it moving forward, right? When we play Tampa, we'll see if he bounces back, because he was playing better going into this game. But I'm just saying, those people that were running those victory laps, man, they are nowhere to be found right now. Doug in the chat says secondary tackling grade just miserable. You see it over and over and over. That's one thing. Some people were screaming, what about Al Harris? Bring Al Harris in from Dallas. Listen, you guys know how I stand on Joe Barry. Never have you heard me say he's a great coordinator. I'm simply showing you what's happening on tape. You're seeing blown coverages. You're seeing missed tackles. You're seeing the head coach going, I don't know why the defender is playing off the line that far. If you want to blame Joe Barry, that's cool. But one thing about the Dallas Cowboys defense, their tackle grade is excellent. Now, Al Harris has never called a defensive series in his entire life at the NFL level. Being a coordinator and a position coach is 2 totally different things, but you also got to understand me. I've got to step back and go, okay, every defensive coordinator was not a defensive coordinator at one time. So got to take that into consideration too. We'll see though. Derek K in the chat said Dre needs to sit, maybe even shut it down for the year. Something's off, man. I refuse to believe that this is the new norm for him. I think it does have to do with the injuries and stuff like that. But that play where he was in position to pick that ball off on the sideline, he just kind of completely whiffed. That was a tough one to watch.
Missed tackle in the run fit too. Hits his run fit and just can't wrap up.
Yeah.
There could be a number of issues that we don't even know about either. Like we know about the ankles, right? And we know, I think he had something with the neck or something. So we know about those, but what you never hear about is his back sore? You know what I mean? Does he have, there's other nagging things and again, these are not excuses. It's just the reality of being a football player in the NFL. I mean, you're running yourself violently into people on a week-to-week basis, nearly a daily basis, depending on what your practices are looking like. So, it wears on you. And Dre is, he's not an old dog yet, but he's certainly not a spring chicken anymore either. So, I don't know. He's a veteran leader, though, on this defense, like you said, Clayton. And, we got to roll with him and give him the benefit of the doubt here. But I don't know if I'd go out on that limb and say outright sit him. But I certainly think maybe looking at that rotation in the middle, maybe, peppering in some more Mr. Wilson. I don't know. It all depends, too, on if we get Quay back. That can change things, too, back there. So,
yeah, it could. It really could. We'll see how it unfolds. So, again, guys, as far as tonight's show, as of right now, I'm not planning on doing one simply because I had a vet appointment for the pups. We were supposed to take them in at 12 o'clock today, which is a couple hours from now. They had to push it back to 4. So it's going to be hard for me to get back home, get the show set up. All I'll say is check back on YouTube on our homepage, say around 5 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock Central. And if I don't have one up by then you'll know there's probably not a show. Okay. So that's one way to kind of keep your eye on whether or not we're going to go live. I would love to do one. I'm hoping I can. But as it sits right now, I don't want to tell you guys, I'm going to do one, set the stream up, and then me not come through. I definitely don't want you guys setting time aside to hop in here and talk ball and me not follow through. So right now, no show tonight, but I will let you guys know if that changes. Tim, I'll definitely let you know in case you're free too, buddy. So
okay, for sure. Get them pups taken care of.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. We're going for their final shots, and then I'm going to Florida next week. The plan is to do a show on site in Florida, so I've got some tech that we ordered and going to take with me, so hopefully we can make it happen. But we got to get those final shots so we can kennel them up while we're out of town. So that's the whole purpose. So I can't get out of the vet appointment today. So with that being said, guys, appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Everybody in the chat, you were absolutely awesome. For those of you listening on the pod, thank you for making us a part of your day. This has been Good Morning Lambeau. Y'all have a great day. Keep it positive. Like I said, take care of one another. Let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world, and go Pack Go.